Hi problems. So, since you last saw the car, there was an attempt made to remove the dashboard to potentially build some members going through the firewall. Dash didn't come out, so we abandoned that plan. We're just going to let it go as is. So today what we're going to be working on is gussets. Gussets. We got some templates made here for the door bars. Got one here for the main hoop. Got some fresh metal here too. Let's get to it. So we got all of our templates sketched out. So almost enough, not a bad estimate, but we're not going to have enough up there to do the A-pillars, and I want to put a little bit of a reinforcement up there. So some swearing later, literally using what you see right there. Robo grips, a mallet, some scrap piece of tube, and the worst vise in the world. That's probably older than me. This is what I ended up with. Not bad. Not perfect. But it's pretty damn good if I say so myself. Sometimes this whole, precision thing and custom fab is a bit more of an art than a science. You kind of get as close as you can with measurements and then hope for the best given the tools that you have. That's not bad. So we finished forming all of the gussets. So we got the ones in the main hoop there. They need a little bit of trimming to get them to sit perfect, as do the ones for the windscreen support. This one here, I still haven't figured out how the heck I'm going to form, because I could barely get the cardboard cut out in and out. So here's what they look like all tidied up. I'm actually very pleased with how these turned out. They look very legit. I mean, considering how they started, I'm very, very pleased with that. Look at your car. Now back to me. Dumbass. Alright, so we got this rough cut. Started sanding down the edges. It's close-ish, so I'll mark out where we're gonna make the bend. So I finished trimming up the side we were working on before. I bent it out so I can get started on this side. We're gonna see if this works, because it might not. At the end of the day, how deep I notch that and that needs to be perfect so that when both are actually inside, there's no forward-backward play. So in hindsight, I think I might try the other door bar a little differently, but we'll see if this works. So a little fiddling later, we got it fitting just a touch better. So that one is pretty much ready to weld. I've even started grinding off some of the old paint here so I can tack it together. So now we're turning our focus on the passenger side, knowing what we know about the driver's side. So the real mistake that I made is when I bent up one side and started trimming it to fit the actual cage, I started cutting these sides here without actually knowing how the other side was going to go. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to kind of notch these, make it fit as best as I can before I touch these. Do the same on the other side, and then when I know kind of where both of these end up with it tacoed, then I'm going to go back, mark it once, clean it up, and then fold it back together one last time, just so we're not bending and rebending and basically stress heating, So we'll give that a shot and see if I can get through it a little quicker. Already got my lines marked out. Template gave me a small heart attack because when I put it in the same orientation as the other side and realized it didn't fit. Duh. Flip it around, it's perfect. Alright, more of that. Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah. Well, it's incredible what happens when you take your own advice and you're talking to yourself in your shop, because it actually works. So here's it just just notched, so we just notched these out to fit. There's a ton of excess on both ends that I have to trim, but we're already kind of most of the way there. Same with this side. I mean, you got some wiggle room in the metal. So it'll do that. We'll trim this, we'll trim that. Put all our markings down, pull it out, raw the cage, stick it back in, and it should be good to go. We might actually be, well, not done with gussets. Sorry, I spoke too soon. We're still missing these ones. So we just finished trimming up the passenger side door bar, and it honestly looks really good. That's awesome. So, last but not least, these gussets. This is kind of roughly what it's going to look like in terms of width. Obviously not an accurate representation of the length. Just trying to mock something up here. So because we don't have a die for this, I was thinking about using the bottom of a can because of that nice little bevel. Only these cans are a bit large. So what I was going to do is use good old Red Bull. We're going to use that lip there to essentially make our dimple die. So this is going to be a little bit experimental. It might not actually work. To support our Red Bull can and keep it from getting crushed, what we've done is we've filled it with a matrix. So you'll see right here, we've filled it to the brim with sand and small stones, and then we went in and we filled it with water. So what this will do is it'll actually give the whole can a lot more structure, and it'll make it much stronger and make it a little bit more resilient to being crushed and deformed. Well, that didn't work. Let's try something else. Okay, so 2 hours later, working in the heat, trying to figure out a way to make these dimple dies work without actually using a tool and a die. I think I'm either heat stroked or my brain has stopped working. I've tried everything under the sun with the stuff that I have available to me, and it really is looking like I'm going to have to send it out and get it done. So, in light of this and trying to make progress on the cage, we're still going to go ahead and start fully welding and painting the rest of it, and we'll deal with the gussets in those A-pillars a little bit later. I do have the material, I've got everything I need. It's a good time to do it before the windscreen goes in, but yeah.